All right, welcome to our global tour of the unexplained. We've sifted through the Paranormal Digest and pulled out some of the absolute strangest and spookiest stories from around the world this week, and we are going to jump right in.
Yeah, there's a ton to get through, so we're skipping all the preamble. Let's just get straight to the weirdest stuff we found in this week's digest.
So, here's our itinerary for this trip into the unknown. We're kicking things off with a classic haunting in the English countryside. Then, we'll zip over to India for an urban legend that has some pretty deadly consequences. After that, we're going to face a German nightmare demon, visit a graveyard that is, well, you'll see. And we'll wrap up with a first-person story so terrifying you just might want to leave the lights on.
Okay, our first stop is Borley Rectory. Now, this place has a serious reputation. In fact, it's a huge contender for the most haunted house in all of England.
Yep, this Victorian home, tucked away in Essex, has really earned that chilling nickname over the years. It feels like every paranormal investigator worth their salt has a story about this place. It's become an absolute legend in the supernatural world.
So the main ghost story here, it's a tragic one. The spirit everyone talks about is a nun who had a secret, forbidden affair with a monk. Well, according to the legend, she was found out, condemned, and then put to death right there, inside the rectory's walls. And now, they say her spirit just roams the grounds forever.
You know, the source material couldn't help but add one last little detail about this story, a bit of a cheeky one. For a nun, haunting a tourist spot is a pretty nasty habit.
All right, from England, let's head all the way over to India for a seriously unsettling urban legend. This one is about a nocturnal spirit with a very specific and very deadly way of finding its victims. The legend of the male Ba is methodical and absolutely terrifying. Here's how it works. After midnight, a female spirit knocks on your door. But whatever you do, do not answer it. Because if you open that door, your fate is sealed. You either vanish off the face of the earth or you're dead within 24 hours.
I mean, just imagine it for a second. It's late, you're home, and you hear that knock. She's at your door. What do? It's a really chilling thought, isn't it?
For our third story, we're heading to Germany to meet a sleep demon called the Alp. And this is an ancient entity that's tied to a very real and frightening human experience that some of you might even be familiar with.
This is where folklore and science kind of collide to describe the exact same terror. You see, for centuries, people have tried to explain things they couldn't understand. In German folklore, that feeling of being pinned down in your sleep was blamed on the Alp, a demon literally sitting on your chest. Today, of course, science has a name for it, sleep paralysis, that absolutely horrifying state where your mind wakes up but your body is still completely frozen.
Now, according to the old legends, the Alp is a master of terror. Most of the time it's invisible, but sometimes it might appear as this little elf-like creature, or it can even shapeshift into animals. Its whole purpose is to give you nightmares so powerful, so vivid, that waking up feels almost impossible.
Okay, for our next stop, we're actually going back to England. But this is not a ghost story. This is something much stranger. If you're looking for a travel destination that's truly one of a kind and incredibly creepy, well, this might be the spot for you.
Just try to wrap your head around this number. We're talking about one place that is home to over 15,000 creepy, dismembered, uncanny valley mannequins. The sheer scale of it is just mind-boggling.
So this collection of pure nightmare fuel is located at a place called Mannequin Hall in Lincolnshire, and it's on a former Royal Air Force base of all places. The origin story is just as weird. Apparently, all of these mannequins were rescued from a landfill. As for why someone would do that, yeah, the source material has absolutely no idea. And now, for our final and I think most chilling story. This isn't a legend or a haunted place. This is what's called a deadly drabble, a super short, super terrifying horror story told from a first-person point of view.
The story drops us right into the narrator's head. They're completely trapped, they're totally conscious and just screaming on the inside. But to everyone else in the room, they look lifeless. Their eyes are glazed over, no one can see the pure terror going on behind them.
And the tension just ratchets up as the narrator starts to overhear the doctors. They're talking,
They hear the diagnosis, brain dead. And then the conversation shifts to unplugging the machines. Can you imagine the horror, hearing your own death being planned and being completely powerless to do anything about it?
And then, the narrator has this chilling, absolutely horrifying realization. The machines, they aren't a lifeline. They're not preserving their body. They're a suppressor. They're a tool that's keeping their conscious mind trapped and, more importantly, quiet.
This story just completely reframes our entire idea of life support, and it leaves us with this deeply, deeply disturbing question. What if the machines we think of as saviors are actually prisons? What if their real purpose isn't to keep us alive, but to keep us quiet?